Hello, how's it going? Welcome back. We just wanted to say one thing before we get started for today's vegan dish. We're doing the Saksuka, and then we're also doing the Jollof rice, Turkish meets Nigerian, West African. And so we wanted to just say that this is actually our first time doing both of these dishes. Eating the jollof, but we've worked with Turkish restaurants before, and so we definitely love Saksuka. But I just wanted to say I did a little potato. I did purple this time for this recipe, which is optional. You don't even need a potato in a lot of the dishes. The main ingredients, though, would be eggplant, of course, and then we have a bunch of nice sauté vegetables. The reason I wanted to do this dish is because there's a lot of meld over between some of the vegetables that we're using in the both dishes. And then let's talk about what we're going to cook in the oven. So there's some stovetop optional, and there's other ways of cooking it. Actually over fire and things like that. So we're actually going to use some oven safe dishes, and we're going to turn it on. We're just going to preheat it. So turn it on to like medium low would be perfect. So who do we have? Hello.
We have Kathy and Teresa, and we have Tiffany and B. DePiro. I don't know who B. DePiro is, but we've got 4 people watching.
Cool.
Bobby Day just joined.
Okay. Nice.
Excellent.
Well, welcome. I wanted to say thank you for everything so far. Join in, and I get pictures often of dishes here and there that you want to see or things that you've done. So thank you very much. And I wanted to talk really quickly about some of the prep. I posted some on Instagram, some on YouTube. So if anybody has any confusion, I was trying to do a vegan dish, but I also, with vegan, is usually a bunch of sides or potentially a nice grilled portobello. We personally have some shrimp that we're going to eat later, don't tell, but those are going to be nice to go with this dish. And let's go ahead and talk about our drink too.
Again, just for everybody that just joined, we're going to be preheating our oven to 350 degrees because our rice will be starting at 35 minutes in the 350 degrees and then resting for 15 minutes afterwards. So just there's your cook times.
Alrighty. So the drinks is what I wanted to talk about real quick. We're doing a weird one once again, vegan and mocktails. But don't worry, you can do alcohol. You can do whiskey or gin with this recipe. A very botanical, floral. But there's a couple of the ones we're using. They actually have a really good viscosity, I would say, to it. They're very thick and doesn't really feel like you're drinking anything that is non-alcoholic because it has the alcohol feel to it. So we have some puree strawberry and blueberry. Then we have some lime. If we were going to do the gin one. Oh, I'm sorry, lemon. If we were going to do the gin one. And we could switch it up if we wanted to and do whiskey with it also. And we could change our citrus on it. And for those who are using, if you want to do whiskey, definitely put some bitters in there, maybe a little cherry. But I'll go ahead and start this one here. How's everyone doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Tati just joined.
Hello, Tati.
She's ready for her vegan meal.
Did you bring your portobello mushrooms? Alright, so we're going to do 1.5 ounces there. And then a ballpark 2 ounce of this one here. These are actually lined, so I can see a pretty proper 1.5 ounces. That was actually 2 there for the puree.
Tati is good, and Austin's good too. He's out catching mushrooms. I mean, not catching mushrooms, catching frogs.
Well, that is not good.
What happened?
Our oven-safe pots just blew up. So, we're going to be using a different pot and pan for this dish.
And Chase may not tell you, but I'll tell you, this is his first time completing either of these dishes.
I made sure.
Oh, good. Oh,
Let's talk
good.
about the drink. You zoom in on that, and I'll fix the oven area real quick.
And like he said, we're doing a mocktail fix right now. So he did this with the gin and the lemon. And you can replace the non-alcoholic, that 0 proof gin. You're welcome to replace it with any sort of aviation is good. He mentioned Citadel in his prep video. Both of those would be excellent gins to add. And because it's a mocktail, I'll be happy to taste test as well.
Please do.
Delicious. Excellent, creamy. You shook it just perfect.
Good.
And Chase is just switching up his baking pans so that we
blew
have.
up. Split right down the middle. Let's come in over and talk about the 2 dishes real quick. This one's not gonna blow up on me. We're gonna saute some eggplant in here right now. I had a little. I don't do it this way normally, but a lot more people nowadays, I think, are doing salt and cold water on the eggplant. I just put it in a bag, put some salt on it, and wrap it up so the napkins get the eggplant out, the moisture from the eggplant, and that's the bitterness. So we're just going to saute it. We'll put some olive oil there as well. And then we're going to talk about our sauce. I know a few people prepared the sauce. Does anybody know what it's called? It's called obiara sauce, and it's a staple. I find a lot of my stuff on New York Times cooking, and then a lot of books, international travel books. But obviously, I learned about this one on a
Convention talk.
Yeah, so that was a nice little thing I found out on Friday, and I was like, oh, well, Friday session. I just wanted to give it a try. And we'll talk about that now. I have a spoon here that should be just nice for this. In the video that I did, I set to simmer for, actually that wasn't a video, that was a post. But anyways, I set to simmer for like 20 minutes. The point is there to just reduce it. You let it cook down, and then you could even store it if you didn't want to do it that same day. I guess a lot of it's a very big staple for the dishes there, and so they have it actually just in their fridge, and they do it for things like goats, chicken. What I would do later on is I'm going to put some sauteed shrimp right in there and serve it over the rice.
Yes, Anderson's arriving, and Gwenny says sorry she's late.
Oh, no worries, Gwenny. We know it must be a good reason. You can fill her in a minute.
Perfect. So this is, again, it's obiata sauce?
O-B-E-A-T-A.
Yeah, obiata sauce. And Chase was mentioning that in Nigeria specifically, they just kind of have this sauce in the fridge to kind of be a staple. So what the research that he did was really interesting. We do have to say, if you know friends in Africa and they are not from West Africa, asking them if they make this rice might not be your best choice. They might get offended.
We have some of our friends in Thailand, and I got a big thumbs down. I was like, okay. I guess you don't make that. So both of these dishes I was going to do in the oven, but tonight I'll just do them stovetop. So if you have your oven preheated with some oven-safe dishes, go ahead and...
We can verbally tell you how to cook those.
Yeah. What I would do... I should wait to see if anybody is, but I'm not going to do that. So what I would do is I would just transfer this out once it's sauteed a little bit more, maybe 3 minutes. Put it at the bottom of your dish that you're going to put in the oven. And then we'll put in the vegetables that I'm going to saute just straight in with the all together and cover it. Yeah, right on top of this. It'll cover it right nice up. But for those who aren't, just follow along. So, 2 dishes tonight. Don't get confused, and I try it. I'll try not to either. Once again, I like to do both dishes because there's a lot of trends. You have your tomatoes staple in both dishes. If you wanted to use just straight tomatoes that were in your garden, go ahead. But if not, you can always use some whatever you have in the pantry. And tomato paste, both dishes. The bell pepper, actually, if you had a red one, you could put it in both dishes. Some onion, we're going to use a little bit of red, and then also a little bit of the white. So, vegan stock or chicken stock is going to be our sauce. A little smoked paprika. Some of the recipes you'll see call for some turmeric, and that should be something that you keep in mind if you want to do it or not. If you have it in your pantry, feel free to add it in for the rice dish. Alrighty, so we're going to throw in the rest of our vegetables here for the saksuka.
You have Jackie Caballero and Susie have both joined.
Welcome. Thanks for coming. The chef I used to work with at the Italian place is called Ada's in Finney Ridge also, and he is Turkish, and he would just cook it. I would get in the afternoon, and he was already cooking it down, just cooking hours after hours, because it ends up being a nice ragu. So if you want it to be more al dente, you can do a quick saute, serve it over some rice. Traditionally, it's the ragu, though. Serve it with some bread, crostini toast points, and then a little, like a yogurt sauce for Turkish style. I'm blanking on the name right now, but I do know that name at some point. Morgan?
No.
Alrighty. Alright, we'll put some tomato paste and some can of crushed tomato in there, and we'll cover it, and that'll cook throughout. I'd say if you wanted to eat it in 25 to 30 minutes, that would be perfectly fine. Like I said, he cooked it for hours on end, just getting all the flavors working in there very nicely. Alrighty, so.
And at what point do you put the tomato paste and are you putting those in now?
I'm gonna saute these for another, probably 3 minutes, and I'll turn the heat to medium high, put some salt and pepper in there, and we'll just leave it, partial lid crack there to get it nice and going. If you have any squash in the garden or zucchini, zucchini is what they usually do, but I like to use some squash. Because Morgan's been proud of these. They've been growing nicely. We haven't got any tomatoes yet, so...
We have lots of green tomatoes.
Yeah. Alrighty. We're going to do the rice in this dish. So, heat your pan up, put a little bit of olive oil in there. Nice, thickly sliced red onions. We'll saute them for about 2 to 3 minutes, right before they get some of that translucent color, because we're going to actually take them out and we're going to be able to use some of them for garnish and then some of them for the dish. Put the garlic in there in a minute or so it doesn't get burnt. And a good trick of doing onions, garlic together and making sure it doesn't get burned is the olive oil, or I use actually avocado oil. It's a high heat. But then you put a little bit of the, if you want to use butter or the vegan butter, just in there, and it really helps with not getting too cooked or too burnt. Alright, I wanted to use this cutting board I just got. I'm gonna cut a little guy there.
It looks like the Jenkins are going to be using squash in theirs tonight.
Nice.
And Mina just arrived as well.
Oh, nice. Welcome. So, my cutting board is very nice. I'm sorry. I got a nice sharp knife here that is a Swiss knife. It's for my bar stuff when I'm doing some pairing for the bar work.
So his squash is going in now.
And then I'll show you. The onions I would put my garlic in right now, and then I'd cook this for another few minutes, and then we'll do the rice. Hard-boiled rice is fine. We have long grain. What I'm using is uncooked rather, long grain jasmine rice. Basmati rice is nice. Any type of rice is good for this dish in the sense that as long as it's not too super short, sticky, it won't. You want a fluffy profile to the dish here. Alrighty. Who's cooking what? Anybody cooking both dishes, or just doing more so one or the other tonight?
And in goes tomato paste and about half of a can of diced tomatoes.
Yeah, a tablespoon of tomato paste, and then a half can, and so that's probably a
about a cup of diced tomatoes.
And then
Jackie says those veggies look like they smell delicious, and I can assure you that they do smell delicious.
You know what smells delicious, Jackie, is this obeyata sauce.
That's very true.
It has habanero in it, red onions, tomatoes, and there's 2 of these actually in there. So, and it yields about 2 cups. So we did 2 cups of this sauce, 2 cups of the rice, and then 2 cups of the chicken stock.
Becky says she's late to the party, but better late than never, Becky. We're happy to have you. And
Yeah.
Teresa is cooking both for dinner tonight, and
good
Tati
job.
is going to be cooking both this weekend at some point.
Tati, I'm disappointed. I'm doing just for you guys. Come on. Teresa, are you doing any protein in your dish tonight?
They're doing shrimp.
Good call. So I would do, if we have enough time, I'll get to it, but if not, a little pan saute, pat of butter, a little bit of parsley, and then a little salt and pepper, of course, and just throw some of that sauce on top of there if you have any left over, and it should be a nice smoky profile. You can add some extra smoked paprika, or do whatever you want to your shrimp. But that's one of the ideas I was thinking about. Alrighty. I'll take some of these out for the garnish.
Tati says she likes to watch first, but she's got all of the ingredients.
Excuses. Alright, so I'll just take a few off to put in a little bit later. Throw in my rice. That's 1 cup. I need 2 cups. I forgot. Okay, 2 cups of the rice. This is when we put in the sauce, the obiata sauce. Supposed to be 2 cups. I need a little bit more in there, but a little bit of the tomatoes. If you don't want tomatoes chunky, don't do that. That was my personal touch because I wanted a few chunkier tomatoes in there, but the recipes, to my knowledge, don't use that. You got them sauteed and blended. But I figured with the onion in there a little chunky, I do a nice Spanish rice that kind of reminded me of this dish that I was like, I'm gonna put a few fresh, or not fresh, but diced in there. I'm gonna cover this rice. And a couple, well, it's about a teaspoon there of paprika. We'll mix it up. So if you were gonna do it in the oven, you also cover it, but then you take it out in about 35 minutes from when you put it in, and then I guess you would actually not uncover it for a while, just so the rice can cook a little bit longer.
So even while it's resting, leave the lid on?
Yeah, that's what I've seen and read. And there's actually a bay leaf in here, a little thyme sprig. Once again, like, I love rice. Well, I love potatoes, but I really love rice and beans. So finding a new dish to kind of play with and experiment with was pretty cool. A little parsley. I think you're just supposed to garnish with it, but I love parsley too. And I like these 2 dishes because there's room for interpretation. They are staples in each of their cultures, but each person makes them a little bit different. So if you know your palate, what you like, then I'm sure you can play with it and find a dish that will be really, really good for you. What time is it? What are we gonna do now?
It's 5:53.
5:53? Alright. Well, I don't think I'm gonna show you how to do your shrimp. I think you can do that nicely.
If not, you're welcome to call him.
Yeah, you're welcome to call. Thank you so much for whoever got this. I know parties, but I know it was
A joint gift.
It was a joint gift, so I'm like awesome. I will be doing I promise to do some of these drinks in the future, and I also have a few recipes of my own that I really like doing that are more labor intensive, but I wanted to kind of ease into drink making and things like that. There's cocktails that are like 3 ingredients, but then there's cocktails that have 4 or 5 elements there that really can accentuate your alcohol there. So tune in the future. We're still going to do some of those summer dishes that we talked about, but wanted to do this one for a special thank you to whoever was Tati? Yeah, Tati and Austin. And so yeah, will you guys have a good dinner? Let's one more time actually. Go ahead and come back over here before you sign off. So I put a little bit more tomato in this if I don't know who's cooking it, but you want a good portion of tomato in there. A good, it's almost saucy. It'll cook down a little bit more, of course, but definitely add a little more tomato if yours, looks at all that consistency. And this I'm going to give it a quick stir because I'm going to turn it down to low here in a minute.
Austin says hi, and so does Liam. He thought he was FaceTiming with you.
Hey, buddy. And I'd put a little bit more chicken broth in this because I want to make sure that is not going to get sticky at all. And I'll turn it to low now. Maybe in 10 minutes or so, check on it if you're not, don't want to trust your pan there. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming in, and we hope to see you again soon, okay?